Welcome back to Mama's Menagerie. Thank you so much for all the views and subscribes. It really makes us happy. Today we're going to do a really special video that I wasn't expecting to have to do. Would never really want to do. Yesterday while doing cage cleans, we saw blood in Nana's enclosure. And that was definitely alarming, so we gave her a bath, gave her a full good once over. And we found out she has an infection on her back left foot. The infection was pretty bad yesterday. We did take her to the vet, but they got the swelling down within 24 hours, so we're super happy about that.
Significantly.
It's back to normal size. It was actually 2 to 3 times as big as her normal foot. And as you can tell, she still has plenty of energy. So it's not that it's really hindering her any, but hedgehogs are very good at hiding their pain. As you know, she tries to jump off the table. So today's video is going to be about giving Nana her meds, because a lot of people don't have hedgehogs, and I mean it's relatively easy since I've had hedgehogs for over 1.5 years, closer to 2 years now. But you know, I just want to give you all a sneak peek at what it's like to give a hedgehog medicine. Her foot's a lot better, so it doesn't look as bad as it did yesterday, so I'm not going to bother showing it to you guys because it looks kind of like a hedgehog foot with some nails missing and discolored. But, so let's jump into the meds. To hold Nana, I don't tip for doing meds because they can spike up at any time. I don't typically use my hands. So I have a towel that I can wrap over her and hold her in place. Or I have my gloves, which is what we typically use to hold them. So we'll figure out what we need to use as we go. So Nana was prescribed 2 things. She was prescribed an antibiotic and a painkiller. So we're going to get both of those today. Hold still for a second, Nana. So our vet always gives us syringes, so we have lots of syringes. Those flip upside down. Nana! Thank you, Gannon. So she gets 0.4 milliliters. I like doing them both at the same time when you're giving it to her. Just take off the other cap. They've already pre-cut the nozzles so that their syringes can go directly into it. Everybody get the cap off. So we're just going to stick the syringe in there. And for this one, she only needs 0.05. So just slightly there. Okay, so here comes the fun part. Let's put the caps back on just in case she gets flaily. Okay, so here we go. What I typically do is I slightly scrub them like you would a rabbit so that their spikes are away from their face. Do you want to zoom in so you can see her better? So the point is to keep her nose out. And then I take the syringe just underneath her nose and feel for her teeth. Their teeth hang over their bottom lip. So I have to go under those teeth. Take it? No? So I'm going to go underneath her nose. Or not. She's getting a little pokey for my hands, so I'm going to use a towel. So it looks like I'm going to have to resort to the gloves. I was hoping she'd take it easily for you guys.
She's never really liked taking her meds though.
Let's try a different method, which if she's not going to take it on her stomach, we'll do it on her back. So they have much more of a reflex on their back. They'll go, ah, on their backs, which does help it with med taking. So, under her nose, but between her teeth, I can feel that she's biting it. So I'm just going to slowly give it to her. Yeah, she rejects a little bit of it. Use the other one to scoop it up. Go to the nose, go to the teeth. This is the painkiller. She didn't mind the painkiller. So hedgehogs do, especially with the antibiotic, they don't like it, and they usually spit up a good portion of it. So I usually just give them a smidge more, and our vet does accommodate for that. They do give a little bit more in their vials, knowing that the small mammals will usually spit up the food, or the medicine. So her antibiotic she gets twice a day, and her painkiller once a day. And she'll probably get periodic baths instead of the as-needed bath. She'll get them more often because the antibiotic will actually mat right here in her fur, and it will cause her some discomfort. So, as you can tell, she's not really acting sick, which is a really good sign, which means it's not a life-threatening infection. You know, as a mom, I always worry about those, but she's doing just fine. Hey everyone, welcome back. So it's been about 9 days since I showed you Nana's medication video, and I want to do a little check-in. She went to the vet 2 days ago, and they said everything was right on progress. She's healing really nicely. Little grumpy, I just woke her up. So she's had 2 baths since we first found the infection, and it is now no longer in the palm of her foot. It is just on the tips of her toes, which is very common. And I realized I forgot to tell you guys why this happened. It's actually a very common infection with running rodents. So like if you have a wheel for your hamster or a ball for your hamster, this is most likely going to happen at least once in their lifetime. So we let them go play a couple times a week. We let them do group play, and we let them play right on the floor, and they'll poop on the floor. Hi, Sarah. We'll let them play on the floor, and they poop everywhere, and they're running, and they can run up to 6 miles per hour. And they're running, and they're running, and we let them play for about 5 hours until they were dead tired. Not literally. But the problem is they can actually run through the pads of their feet. And that's the problem. Then they step in their own fecal matter, which is what causes the infection. So it's not the first time we've seen this infection in our hedgehogs, but I just thought I'd show you guys how we went through it all. So she's still taking her antibiotic. She still has a couple more days. But she's doing a lot better. I'm not sure she's going to show that foot. She's a little feisty from all the handling lately. Now, if you buy a hedgehog from the store, they will not take medication as easily as Nana does. Nana was born into captivity with me, and so I've actually been handling her since she was 2 weeks old. Hi, Nana. So she knows me, she knows my scent, she doesn't really quill up at me all that often. So keep that in mind, that you might have to medicate your hedgehogs. Little fun fact about hedgehogs, they can live up to 7 years. 3 to 5 is about average. So, you have to keep in mind the commitment you're making. But because they are mainly meat eaters, they're not really as much force fed unless they are very sick and you are purposely taking in a sick rehab hedgehog. Like I said, they can run 6 miles an hour. They are not easy to catch. That's usually why we let them run until they're super tired, because they're usually asleep and they won't fight us. So keep little things in mind if you're thinking about a hedgehog. Feel free to ask any questions you want. Post them down below. Okay, so Nana's doing great. Thank y'all so much for watching out for her and thinking about her. She's gonna be isolated for another week to make sure that infection's not gonna take off again, and just in case it is contagious, but just in case, she will not play with everyone else. Her bin has not even been in the same shelving unit as everyone else. This past week, while we've been doing meds, just in case, we're always very cautious when we're doing health care for them. We think about what's best for them, and taking them in and out of the shelf while they're sick is not a good idea. Having them around others, having them on a shaky shelf isn't good. These little things, the things you need to think about if you're going to medicate an animal you don't handle every day necessarily. Okay, Nana, say goodbye. Thanks, guys.